Aloha, sacred sisters. This is Dewi Maile Lim. I am the founder and creatrix of Quickening, an embodied feminine leadership speaker series. And I'm so delighted to be here with you all today for episode 4. This is our 4th week, so we're just a month in, just about to launching this series. It's been such a delight to connect with women around the world, some who are new connections, some who I've known for some time in various phases and stages of my life. This series is meant to create a ripple effect in the realms of LinkedIn. I'm going to go more into LinkedIn today. LinkedIn is a blue ocean platform where I feel like a lot of embodied feminine leaders are, but maybe we haven't been able to find each other in the past. And so I'm primarily using that platform to promote that. And I'll go more into why that is today during my presentation. I'm going to pin the other speakers with me. Really, this speaker series grows, and the imprint and the residual effect of our impact, you know, the impact that we can have with this series grows by your organic sharing and support of this. So I welcome connecting on LinkedIn if we haven't already. You're all part of the community now, so you'll receive emails and reminders about future events. If you know of any other women who might be fit to speak, I'm welcoming introductions. Tessa's already introduced me to a friend of hers, Kimberly, who's going to be speaking. So the snowball effect of this is growing. And I am going to also be hosting in a couple of weeks a meet and greet amongst the speakers or anyone who is interested in being a speaker. And those, I held 3 of those before we officially got started, and those were really powerful. The synergy and the camaraderie and the support and the real kind of resonance amongst the women who are just meeting each other for the first time, many of them. So I'll host another one of those for us, and you'll hear about that soon. I just haven't set the date yet, but it'll be probably the first week or 2 of April. Okay, with that, I'm going to pin our speakers for today. We can meet them. So today I have the pleasure of featuring these beautiful women, including myself, on our virtual stage. And I would love to just give a brief bio for each of us, and you can raise your hand and say hi at that point. And then I will, in the order in which I introduce, we're going to have our presentations today. And then at the end, we'll open it up for Q&A and meet and greet. Everyone here is welcome to join the conversation at that point, introduce yourself, and ask any questions that you have for our guests. Okay, so here we go. Welcome, Lily. Hi. So today I have the pleasure of introducing you to VANESSA Smith. VANESSA is an energy guide and mentor who helps you own your new paradigm role with soul level confidence, deeply aligned clarity, and intuitively strategic roadmap for building, bridging, and creating the new. So she has a variety of programs and certifications that she offers, and she'll go a little bit more into that in a little bit, including something I'm really excited about, New Earth Collab, which is a collaboration community and wealth diversification network for transformational businesses who are here to shift the paradigm. Very cool. Can't wait to hear more about that. And then Melody KIERSZ is one of our returning speakers. Melody helps women uncover the true essence of who they are, liberating their true expression. So it shines like a bright beacon that empowers and inspires followers and attracts soul-aligned clients. She has a Embodied Visibility and Leadership Mastermind, which is a 6-month deep dive with badass women to fully unleash their self-expression, make bank, and change the world while doing it. So I'm sure she'll share a little bit more about that with us as well today. And then I'm Dewi. I'm presenting today as well. Dewi Maile Lim is my full name. I'm on a mission to support New Earth visionary women with tools, resources, and collaborative community required to co-create the experience of heaven on earth now. I have a couple of different offerings. My business is called New Earth Sisterhood, and I have a mastermind program called Rebel Heart Creatrix Mind, and also the founder of Quickening, which you're all on now. And I'm passionate about the intersection of business, collaboration, creativity, consciousness expansion, and personal and planetary sovereignty. So excited to be here with you all. So I'm going to bow out of the pinned posts, and Vanessa, we're going to feature you fully in just a moment. So hold on, I'll let you know when we're there. All right, Vanessa, you are on. The floor is yours. And one thing I request for you to do is just keep track of your time as much as possible. So we're each going to share for 10 minutes. And then I'll ping you with 1 minute left. I'll DM you. So just pay attention to the chat too. All right, the floor is yours, dear.
All right, let's see. For some reason, I am only seeing you. Is everyone seeing me? Because I don't see me at all. You see me. Okay. All right. So perhaps I just do this looking at your beautiful face and and not mine. I see may we instead of myself, but that's so I feel like I'm having a conversation with you. We'll just roll with that. So thank you, first of all, for having me here today. It's such a rich topic, the idea and the I want to say the embodiment of the embodied feminine leader and what that means to me. And as I sat with the different pieces that really wanted to come forward for me to share with you about that, I realized that I really wanted to start with the heart. And so for all of you that I cannot see right now, if we can create a synergistic, coherent energy field among us right now and just simply hold our hearts in a way that feels relaxing and comforting and safe. Thank you. I want to start with talking about the body and the importance of the body. I notice for myself, leadership aside, or the concept of leadership aside, that the more that I allow myself to be in my body and to connect with my heart, and to also do that in a field with others, that community and that deep sense of energetic connectedness that we all share, that's when we can open up a conversation about leadership. When we feel safe in our own bodies, we have a completely different experience of our own, personal day-to-day, our own inner reality, as well as the connections and the conversations that we have with other people. And so I appreciate that you all started with the heart with me. The body just begins to relax when we give it the space to do so. And that to me is very much at the heart of embodied feminine leadership. But before I say anything else that feels a little more intellectual, I would like to tell you a story, because I believe stories are medicine and we recognize each other in the stories. And the story that I want to tell you happened, let's see, I'm going to say 8 years ago. I was at a workshop. It was a healing workshop. It was with this company called Gemsphere. And I've, like many people in the healing field, I have a certain draw or intuitive connection with crystals. But these gemstones were medicinal. There's something, they feel like their own personhood. You feel like you're interacting with an archetype when you're in communication with these gems. So I did this weekend workshop, and it was at a time in my life my son was, I think, 2 at the time. So I was in the height of sleep deprivation and toddlerhood, and really wanting to reclaim that space for myself. And so I went to this workshop to do that. And what I hadn't realized is, like intuitives, of which I am, the gems will bring out what is underneath the surface for you, like any good healing journey, right? Like we always think of how we will be on the other end of the healing journey. And that it is like that with leadership too. We hold this ideal of what a leader is on this pedestal. We have this idea of like how we will show up in the world, but there's this very messy process of recalibrating our identity and upgrading our energy and discovering some things that were hidden underneath the surface. And so in this weekend, where I was fully unprepared to meet myself where I was at, it was unexpected, the emotion that came up for me. And I think, actually, I know, just in the willingness to meet yourself is so much a part of embodied feminine leadership. It is so much the foundation and at the root of what we want to bring to ourselves and what we want to bring to other people. So in the moment of feeling really overwhelmingly activated in not a very pleasant way, like the emotion was coming through, and I had to make a beeline for my car and just sit there and cry for a little bit. And I made my way back into the workshop, because it was during a break, and it was very clear that I had been crying. And at this moment, 3 women, I felt like they descended from the heavens. One came in from my right, one came in from my left, and one came in right from the center. And they all kind of walked towards me at the same time. And I thought, if I look down at their feet right now, they won't be touching the ground. Like they just had this, I could hear the angels singing, and they all had this different energy and this archetype. And I didn't, consciously process it at that moment. It was more in retrospect that I realized that they were each bringing me a version of what embodied feminine leadership looks like. And there was, one woman on my right who simply gave me presence. She simply stood there as I fumbled over my words and as tears came down my face, and tried to explain what was going on for me. I had the sense that if I had no words or many words, that she would be cool with it. She would be 100% available with her presence. And that is one of the strongest archetypes that we can embody in our feminine leadership. And to experience that, to be on the other end of that, was, well, really, it was really just beautiful, is what it was. It was like an incredible experience to just be held, because I was used to being the space holder. And to have somebody hold space for me was really incredible. And then the woman on my left, she was very caring and very nurturing, and really wanted to make an effort to let me know that she hears me. And so she used her words to create presence. She used her words to help me feel rooted. And for whatever reason moved her, she stuck a $20 bill in my hand. It was like her way of wanting to nurture me in that moment. She stuck it in my hand. And then the woman in the middle, she had this glowing white hair. And she was actually the teacher of the workshop. And she came in and she put both of her hands on my shoulders. And she just stood there with a moment. And she looked at me in this very piercing kind of way. And there was a sense of no judgment, but she was very present. She was very grounded. And she was also really not available for my bullshit. Like, there was something in her presence that automatically made me be in my leadership, even in the moment of the tears coming down and the fumbling over words and feeling like I'm the 2-year-old. It was almost if the transmission of her energy transferred into my own energetic template. Like, I began to match her leadership that she was embodying in that moment. And she just looked at me and she said, "Clean your face, come to lunch." And that was all she said. And then she walked with me to the bathroom. She handed me the tissue. And then she walked with me arm in arm to the lunchroom, and we sat down and we had lunch. And so with that story, that I just wanted to bring to you these archetypes that we are presented with every day in our communities, and with the colleagues that we know, our network, and the clients that we may work with, that the embodied feminine leader archetype can show up in so many different ways. And so what I wanted to offer you tonight is, no matter how messy or nervous or fearful or fierce or empowered that archetype looks to you, just notice it in yourself, and notice that leadership archetype in others as well. And it's in that presence that you'll begin to strengthen, cultivate, and activate it even more so for everybody around you, including you. So with that, I just want to say thank you. And if anyone else wants to know about what you shared around New Earth Collab or the Energy Guide certification program, I'm happy to share that when we open it up to the questions.
So beautiful. Yay. I received that transmission, and I love the different multifaceted and multidimensional ways that we get to show up in our authenticity as embodied feminine leaders. It's a really cool story too. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I'm going to drop VANESSA's links here so you can have them. And yes, we will open it up. She does have an energy guide certification program coming up. And then, let me make sure everyone gets this. Yeah. Whatever kudos you have for VANESSA or insights, what struck you or really resonated, please share them in the comments. Beautiful. All right, I'm gonna bring Melody KIERSZ up to the podium, the virtual podium. Okay, so we're gonna take off our pins. I'll let you know when you're all set. Okay, Melody, you're up.
Can you hear me all right? Yeah, cool. I'm just starting my timer. Thank you so much, Vanessa, for sharing that story. It's really beautiful and really touching. I'm also going to start a little bit with sharing a story that's a bit more recent. It's about today, and then I'm going to loop it back into embodied leadership, embodied feminine leadership. I felt like crying most of today. And there's just like a lot that I'm holding. I had food poisoning on the 3rd week of my launch, recovering from that. Today was the first day that I had some real food. I'm also on my period. My partner had to take some space, which triggered my abandonment wounds. I have a loved one who's in the hospital, and I'm in the middle of launching, like amongst everything else that happens in life. And the reason that I want to share that is because I feel like oftentimes, especially in the old paradigm of leadership, of, as we were saying before, right, like of being on a pedestal, I have to be the expert, I have to be the person who has all their shit handled and everything is perfect, and I just like glide, right, and like nobody shall see what's happening under the surface. And I'm really passionate about breaking that, because we all have stuff that's happening under the surface. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter which leader you are looking up to, they have stuff that's under the surface, right? They might or might not show it, but it's there because we're all human. And so for me, embodied feminine leadership really means leading in a non-hierarchical way. And it means also something that I have heard named surrendered leadership. I spoke about it a little bit last time. And I just really wanted to give that example today, because in surrendered leadership, what we have is that normally, like when I was speaking with one of my clients earlier today, normally when we show up in leadership or we see people showing up, it's like we are thinking about the people we are leading, right? And so we are holding space for them, and we become like this hollow bone, if you're into shamanism, right? Like we're the hollow bone through which like the transmission is happening, right? We're not doing the healing, like we're just holding that space, right? And with surrendered leadership, what happens is that we are not outside of that. Like we are part of the group, right? Like oftentimes when we are leading, it can be this thing where we are leading for the others and we are taking ourselves out of the equation. And with surrendered leadership, we are actually bringing ourselves back. We are holding a space where like we're both holding the space, and also we are a part of the space that is being held. And whatever is happening with us and within us is also part of that field that Vanessa was talking about, right? And so for me, it's like, why do I want to share that and what's happening for me today? Is because I know that it's of value to you, and it's also of value to me. Like it actually normalizes for me and it normalizes for you. It's a permission slip for everybody, and it's shame healing for everybody. And like for me, that's a huge aspect of embodied feminine leadership, is that also, you know, even if we just think about it in the sense of how we have been taught to be as women, of putting everybody else first, right? And then it's like, well, but can I bring myself back in, right? Can I also be part of the picture that I am leading, instead of like, I'm doing this for them? It's like, no, we're all here together. We're all leaders. We're all leading each other. I am not outside of this circle. I am in it. Like I am a part of it. And what is in me is also a contribution, the same way that anybody else that might lead in that might share in that circle is a contribution. My personal situation is also a contribution, right? My personal share is also a contribution. And what I also wanted to bring in is that oftentimes, I think also, if you are a business person, if you are someone who is the face of your business, we can fall into this trap of believing that we have to always be positive or high vibe in order to make a sale. In order to sell, right? Where it's like we always, like we have these beliefs around like, I need to be upbeat and I always need to be like a cheerleader to be able to sell my services because nobody wants to buy from somebody who's depressed, right? And you know, there's an ability to be able to hold ourselves. Like today, as I said, I'm holding all of this stuff. I am holding my past melody, my inner child melody, the little melody, right? I'm also having the capacity, because I have the nervous system regulation skills, to hold future melody, the melody for whom I'm creating this future, the melody for whom like I am creating like the financial wealth that I want to create when I'm selling my programs, aside from also helping people and helping the world make like a difference, right? With embodied leadership. But it's like I'm holding my present self, my past self, my future self, and like it's a lot, right? And I just want to say like there is a capacity, there is a way where we can do that. And still, like, even when we are not feeling the most upbeat, when we are not feeling like, you know, all pumped up, I've seen a lot of times, you know, this idea of like, you know, I need to, if I'm not feeling great right now, I need to somehow release or transmute what I'm feeling right now in order to like then show up online with this bright energy when I make my posts, right? Or when I share myself, or when I show up to give a talk, for example. And so like, you know, like I find like, yes, sometimes that is the way that we can go, and that is what can feel the right thing to do. And also I want to invite all of you to just show up the way that you are, because it is also permission giving. It is also healing for everybody. And I want to live in a world where I don't need to pretend or force myself to be in a different state than what I am in order to like connect, in order to make a sale, right? Like that is what one of the many things that I'm standing for. And so I want to say today I felt like shit. And guess what? One more person signed up for my program. I had that call and they said yes, and they sent the payment right away. And so I just want that to be evidence to everybody that like, you don't have to like be a fucking like cheerleader, or be always in this like high vibe, rah, rah, like space. Really, it's about how we relate to ourselves. Like, I'm not making myself wrong for how I'm feeling today. There's nothing wrong with that. So why would I hide it? So that's a little bit like what's coming to me today. I didn't have a talk prepared because I also believe that embodied leadership is speaking from the moment a lot of the time. And so I'm just going to use the rest of my time, which I don't even know how much I have left, to speak a little bit about the Embodied Leadership and Visibility Mastermind, which is, you know, we will touch on all of the things that I just shared about. It's a 6-month program where we're really looking at all of these limiting beliefs, like some of which I was just sharing, like I need to always be high vibe. I need to like, you know, like always speak as if people don't understand what I'm saying and explain everything, or all of these things that like well-meaning marketing advice, right? But like we look at all of these things. What are the ways that I think I need to be showing up that are actually like holding me back from showing up the way that I truly am, like my own unique expression, like, and then like building those nervous system resources so that we can bring ourselves to show up in the way that is most aligned with ourselves, and be able to like receive whatever it is that, whichever way people are going to respond. Some people are going to be like, fuck yes. And other people are going to be like, oh no, like she's talking too much about herself, or like whatever the fuck people are going to say, right? Those are not my people, right? Like, So for me, it's like I use my own personal stories to illustrate, right? And so like there's like a thing that needs to happen in order for us to be able to hold whatever way people are going to respond and like deal with the imposter syndrome and deal with the vulnerability hangovers and all of that, like really expand our capacity to hold ourselves, hold our past self, hold our present self, hold our future self, and not have this thing that I know happened often for me throughout 10 years of building my business, where I would like go out and show myself and then I would burn out and withdraw, and it would take me months to like get back, right? And so we really want to be able to have that consistency when we show up, but we also don't want to be repressing and like pushing our feelings aside. So how do we do that? How do we learn to hold all of it simultaneously? So that's what we're going to be doing in the mastermind. And that's the last 2 months. It's like 2 months, the beliefs, 2 months, we'll do the building of the nervous system. We'll of course continue doing that. And then the last 2 months are reserved for like practicing together in a safe space. And then, you know, you can practice also in your own social media streams or whatever it is that you're promoting yourself while you're still being held by the hand in the container. I'm super fucking excited about this program. I feel like it has everything that I wish that I had at the beginning of my business journey. I basically created this for myself for like 10 years ago. And I am offering a free consultation for anybody who feels inspired, or even if you just want to sort of like get clarity around what are the limiting beliefs that I'm having right now that are holding me back. Even if you have no intention of signing up for the mastermind, like please do book the call. I just love offering this. There's zero pressure for you to sign up for the mastermind. I think they already put the links. And so yeah, if you have any questions, I would be happy to answer as well. Thank you so much.
Beautiful, Melody. Yay. We got a brilliant in the comments. Feel free to drop anything that resonated with you the most about what Melody shared. And I love this piece about the holding space in our nervous systems for our inner little one, for our present state, and for the embodiment of who we are becoming, who we see ourselves being. Awesome. Okay, well, I'm going to pin myself. So I'm going to do a little bit of back and forth today. I will share my screen at one point. I want to talk more about tactics and strategies that I believe are really this concept of a blue ocean strategy, which is basically how we can become more visible and kind of stand out in a sea of sameness, and in particular using the platform of LinkedIn as a place and space to do that. My whole intention with this series, Quickening, was to create a forum for us on this platform to connect with other women, maybe outside of Instagram or Facebook, where we all hang out, I'm sure. I know I've built most of my business and made the most connections using Facebook in the past. And something about it, just, you know, with all of the big tech exposure that's happened over the last few years, and just the whole, even when Instagram and became a part of the Meta suite, so to speak, I really just became more disillusioned with that platform more and more, although it has served me to connect. LinkedIn is definitely where I see a gap in terms of women like us, embodied feminine leaderships, that there's so much potential for us here. So a stat about LinkedIn that is I got from one of their articles is it's a professional networking site, right? So it's meant to be a place to connect around business. So how many of you, I've shared in this way before on using social media, especially on LinkedIn, Facebook and Instagram, have used storytelling, as a way to connect. And then, way down at the bottom of the post, it's like, and if you want to learn more about my program where I go into this, so it's kind of like cloaked, with storytelling. We're using storytelling as a way to kind of cloak, and nothing bad or wrong about this, an offer that we're making, a call to action, right? Well, on LinkedIn, it's very straightforward that that's what we're doing. We're making offers on LinkedIn. We're inviting people into our community. We are connecting around collaboration. It's very straightforward, and it's already baked in to the platform, right? So with over 740 million users and 55 million registered companies, it really is the place for businesses and people. We're all the faces, I believe, behind our brands and companies. And it's a place to connect with a larger, expansive audience. And so I'm going to share a little bit about how this has been playing out for me. Literally within a month, what I've been able to do using LinkedIn as the primary way of promoting this series. I just realized I need to set my timer. And, in the highest level expression of what's possible for you and your goals and your vision with your platform and your movement, that I pray that this inspires you to dive deeper into the platform if you haven't already, and to focus some of your efforts, your marketing efforts and your growth efforts there. So we can really create this wellspring and groundswell of, frankly, my mission is to have the divine feminine expression of us as embodied feminine leaders, like alive and well on the platform. That we, like, the divine feminine is in the house, and we're on LinkedIn, and we're playing together, and we're reaching more people and helping to shift, humanity's kind of moment of awakening, grounded in and anchor it in on this platform. And so I see us doing it on Instagram. I see us doing it on Facebook. Let's do it on LinkedIn. So here's some of what I've been able to do literally within, so one of the hallmarks, I believe, of feminine leadership is moving on in, an inspired idea that just is like so present within our hearts. Like, how many of you have taken action instantaneously on an idea you've had, and it's just gotten traction right away? Like, you got affirmation from others, from this divine sparks, that you were on the right track. That's what it's been for me on LinkedIn with this quickening series. So in the last month, I have been able to, just all through organic means, where are my stats? So, oh, I don't even have my stats here. I thought, where are they? Oh, okay, maybe I'm not going to be able to share my numbers with you. But basically, I'll just share what I do know. I've been able to get 100 new leads into my business, people that I want to play with, people that I could serve potentially, people that are helping me to grow my reach. I've been able to meet about 20 different new speakers within the last month that are people who are coming to me. So I've done presentations before, like a summit model. How many of you have participated in summits before? So summit is like where you have a roster of speakers, and it's a concentrated amount of time. and everybody kind of promotes each other, but you're kind of actively reaching out as the person to inspire and invite people into your community. It's a list building exercise or strategy where you're growing your reach. So this is kind of like a hybrid summit model that I'm using with the speaker series, where because of the viral nature, where we're each inviting other people, and one of the requirements as a speaker or invitations is that you share this with other potential women who might be a fit to speak. There's this viral organic quality that has happened where people are coming to me. So rather than me needing to be the one that's outbound, you know, searching for people and inviting people, which I have done as well, and everybody's been a yes. This has been more of a reverse kind of attraction based phenomenon that I've never experienced before, and it was instantaneous. And so I believe part of this, I can attribute part of this to the fact that it is mainly being promoted and hosted on LinkedIn, and that it's a fresh and new kind of an idea. The fact that it's a recurring event as well is kind of like a podcast in a way, but different because it's a series of 3 speakers every week, curated by me. And all of the women who have said yes to participating are highly invested to show up and share it with their audiences, share it with their lists. I'm not requiring people to mail a solo email to their audience, although some people have. So that in the past with a summit, what I've experienced is there is more of a barrier to entry where like someone has to have a certain size list, let's say, to participate. And you're only inviting people who, you know, have more than 5,000 people, let's say, on your email list. So it really cuts out the opportunity for voices of embodied feminine leaders, in this case, from being able to participate. So I don't have a gated requirement in that way. It's just really if you're feeling inspired by this topic and you believe in collaboration over competition, and you feel inspired by the idea of women coming together in this kind of new, exciting way. And it's not new in the sense for me of holding space, because I've been, you know, meeting online with women extensively in circle type environments and masterminds and facilitating experiences for women online actively for the last 7 years, also hosting other people's summits or advising on other people's summits. Like I've done several summits. This is different. This is something that I feel is really worthwhile of exploring. And so one of the keys, and this is something I want to leave you all with a couple things you can start to do to implement on LinkedIn to kind of get the ball rolling so that you can have a greater presence there and have more people finding you, is to create a company page. So I'm going to show my screen real quick. Oh, that's not it. So a company page on LinkedIn is where you want to host your event from. So the benefits of creating a company page, I'm just going to speak for now because I don't, my tech is not prepared. I'm not prepared with my tech. So a company page is separate from your profile page. And having a company page as yourself, if you're your own brand, or if you have a brand name for your business, is the way to go for hosting events. Because with that feature enabled, when you host an event from your company page, you have the opportunity to do lead generation directly from your page. So I've played with that a little bit to see how that works. I've also you can direct people to any kind of a link. So I've been directing people to Zoom, and building my list through Zoom and having everyone opt in through Zoom. But you can do direct lead gen from your company page. The other thing that's really cool about having a company page is you can create a free gift on your company page. I was going to show it to you, but how mine is laid out. But if you want, you can visit New Earth Luminary through my account and check out what I've done there. So really, there's ample opportunity for you to grow your audience and find the others on LinkedIn. Also, you want to create your profile as a creator. So what that does for you as well is your personal profile. When you become a creator, you have access to a whole suite of tools. You can go live on LinkedIn. You can create audio events, which is like a Clubhouse-like function on LinkedIn. And you can also have the ability for people to follow you as a creator. So they're really empowering people like us who have content and who are thought leaders to reach more people. And once you're in and creating content regularly on LinkedIn, the people that are following you are actually going to see your content. So when you and I connect on LinkedIn, if we haven't already, I will follow you. I will like and comment and share your content. Whatever resonates with me, I've been doing that with some of the women that I've been connecting with on this series. And together we can, amplify through this kind of, it's almost like Twitter in that sense, where you can retweet or reshare posts. And then I highly recommend anytime you share a post that you add your own blurb on top of why you're sharing the post, what, your additional thought leadership, curate your position about what makes this post worthwhile to share, add your own voice to it. The creator of that content will see that you've reshared it. And if you're not already connected with them, they'll likely respond and give thanks for your promotion of their post. And then you're also creating an additional layer of conversation. So those are just some tools and techniques. I'm sorry I didn't have my stats for you to share, but there are more. The open rates for my emails have been way above industry average. We're talking like 61% on average and I've segmented my list. I geek out on email marketing. So if you ever want to talk shop about that, please reach out to me. And I'm offering, so through this experience, I'm collaborating with a sister of mine who does a lot of the tech end things to do a done for you or done with you model where we implement this entire, what we're doing here on your behalf in your industry, in your niche for your platform. And really, if you are looking to grow your reach this year, if you want to get more qualified leads in your business, if you'd like to anchor in your thought leadership in a whole new way, especially on the LinkedIn platform, let's chat. I would love to see if that offering, the Done For You offering, or I also have a mastermind called Rebel Heart Creatrix Mind, where it's an thought leadership and visibility amplifier and incubator. And I'm going to be hosting a summit at the end of the year featuring all of the voices of the women who are part of that. So I'll put a link to my scheduler. If you want to book a call with me, let's just talk story and see how I might be able to support you to amplify your reach this year. Thank you so much for listening. If there's anything that resonated in particular, let me know in the comments, or maybe share one thing you would like to implement about LinkedIn, about what I shared based on what's working now. Thank you, Lily. So let's all, let me remove my pin. I would love to open up the floor for all of us to share any questions you have for any of the speakers, any ahas or insights. Introduce yourself. Floor is open. And any of the speakers can come back on too. Yeah, come on.
I'll step up. Hi, I'm Lauren Wittig. I'm an intuitive energy healer and a channel. And I have a podcast that is one of those things like you were talking about, Dewi, where I got the idea and it just exploded. And so I've been having a lot of fun with that this year. That's where I met Tessa even, I think. I loved the suggestion at LinkedIn to share a post, but add your own thoughts at the top of it. One of my goals is to get my voice out in as many ways as possible. And I'm not a social network person, but that really kind of rang a bell for me. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Beautiful. Yeah, that is this content creation kind of thought leader angle. And there's something called newsjacking too that is used sometimes in marketing, where current events or things that are happening in the collective, you can weave that in and make it relevant to your own thought leadership. Whatever your position is on that, take a stand. Yay! Thank you. Anyone else feel inspired?
I'm inspired. Like, I tend to be in resistance around social media because I haven't been able to convert a damn thing in, however many years since it started. And I appreciate like you painting the picture in a way that helped me see like I think there's a big opening, right? Because sometimes we get involved in these things and it's like a little bit late. We mix that curve and somehow all the algorithms are working in a particular way. So to me, it sounds like it could be really good timing. And I love the stats that you brought, Dewi, on, the 740, I think you said, million and 55 million companies, registered companies. Like, that's freaking amazing, right? This isn't people just sitting around idly, like, bored. They're actually professionals who might want to actually do something with their lives and take some action. And so I really appreciate that. And Melody, I just want to say I just really felt you. I love how you're bringing authentic leadership, into the embodied feminine leadership. I think for me, that's actually been an area where I noticed a disconnect years ago and started to perform, so I would fit in like with some of my clients and this and that and the other when I was facilitating. And ultimately it didn't work. And so thankfully I was able to be more and more authentic, but it was a lot of wasted years. And I love what you've created. Sounds great. Love to chat with you sometime. And VANESSA, thank you so much for just starting with the congruency, right? Creating heart congruency. I think this, showing up like as your real self, what you really stand for. I think all of us, when we do that, we are setting the bar in a new way. We're saying this is enough. We don't have to over explain and have all the science and the this and that, right? Yeah. And then in our presence, like, and Melody spoke directly to this, like we cause the healing. I think even though we can't be there to like touch one another in the way that you received that one time, VANESSA, I think we can impact one another with the tone of our voice, whatever's coming through us and our expressions, our words, the language we use. And so we are having an impact on nervous systems everywhere and helping to activate soul stars and whatever it is that is going to create, a phenomenal tipping point in this awakening. So Dewi, thanks so much for having this platform.
My pleasure.
I just wanted to add something because you just reminded me of the whole debacle with like Rihanna's Super Bowl performance. I don't know if any of you were aware of that, but there were some people who loved it and some people who hated it. And like, she didn't do a giant show like most other performers at the Super Bowl. Like, she just showed up. She was Rihanna. She was pregnant. She was like, I'm not going to be like dancing up a storm, like, or doing this giant show and jeopardize myself and my baby. Like, and she just showed up. She sang the shit out of it, had a bunch of dancers, and that was it, right? And it was this energy of like, I am enough. Like, I don't need to put this extra show and glitter and all of this crap on. And that's what, some people loved it, some people hated it. Like, some people got that transmission, like mostly women. And other people felt like it wasn't enough. But it's like, we're talking to the people for whom like they get that, right? It's like, this is enough, right? And that's what we want to usher in. And I really just want to say thank you to all of you, because I feel it just feels so good to be surrounded by people who are also like, that we're carrying that and birthing it together. So thank you.
Oh, so beautiful. I'm curious, Vanessa, because I do see you sharing content pretty regularly. I'm just curious, real quick, if you don't mind sharing like how that's been for you with LinkedIn, if you have any tips yourself to share, because I do see you sharing, and I want to acknowledge you for that. You're muted.
Oh, my God. Okay. Yeah, so I felt the call in the last 6 months or so to become really active on LinkedIn, and I felt the same opening. I actually created a link that's called Let's Disrupt LinkedIn, and really bring like new paradigm conversations to the platform itself. And I was transparent and honest about it, because I felt bored. I was like, I know my people are here, or I know this is an opening for them to arrive and get here, and I want to talk to them. Where are they? So I began very consciously putting out invitations to talk more openly about new paradigm perspectives, about transformational leadership, about energy awareness and energy psychology, because that's my wheelhouse. And I love those conversations, and I want to have them on LinkedIn. And I was noticing that with the content, everything that we see on our feed is so based on who we're connected with, right? And who we follow. So we all get these very interesting curated feeds. But I was noticing that what people were sharing on LinkedIn was more just very boxed in. And I'm looking at it intuitively and energetically, and I'm thinking, you do realize if you shifted the energy, you'd have a totally different conversation. Or, if you were in touch with your own truth, we'd be talking about something totally different here. And so that drive was just rising in me. So with the passion around it, it made the commitment easy to show up more consistently. I was just like, I need these conversations. And if I have them with myself for the next 6 months on the platform, because no one's commenting, I don't care. They're fueling me. But I noticed that as I was just more willing to show up, be transparent, talk about what I'm passionate about, more and more people started following me. So I was actually seeing the results in the consistency when I let my passion drive me, when I let my truth be transparent. And I stopped worrying about being in hiding or how I might be perceived, because I was having different kinds of conversations, different types of posts on there. And that's what catalyzed more people to follow, more people to reach out to me. Opportunities started coming in. And then I did put in the reposting, like I'm looking specifically for more old paradigm kind of leadership posts on purpose, and then reposting them with my very long, energetic, intuitive take on what that actually means and what does that look like in a transformational new earth type of paradigm way. And that's been getting, so just a tip on the LinkedIn, what you can do is if you find a post that you don't agree with, but you have an intelligent response to it, put your response in the comments, copy what comment that you just made, and then repost it as the blurb right in front of their post. And so that way you get the recognition on the comments themselves, and then you're also populating your own page. So that I did, I'd say in the last week, I did something like that. And I had, I don't know, 20 likes or loves on the comment that I did. And I had a whole slew of new people following, connecting, curious about transformational leadership. So that's, I don't know if that answers your question, but that is my approach. And I'm very much in agreement and alignment with everything that you're saying. I think the opportunity to be on LinkedIn and actually steer it in a whole new direction is available right now. And I also just feel really called to say that this whole idea of a tipping point, like if we can all get on board and all do this collaboration and like we're going to hit this tipping point. I don't know about all of you, but like energetically, when I feel into it, I feel like the tipping point already happened. Like that's old news. So let's have a new conversation about how we're already existing in the space of having the tipping point passed. And so I think that's like a different energetic signature to embody a different kind of leadership, to say, we're already here, y'all. Like we're already in the new paradigm. Let's just talk about the build now and how we can collaborate in making this more apparent for everybody else. Thanks for the extra time to talk.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much, everyone. Does anyone have a burning desire to speak before we wrap up? I honor burning desires to speak in this platform.
I do.
Please.
I'm just not familiar with LinkedIn. And so it seems like everyone who's been talking about it is more looking for other leaders, like that leader level. I mean, can it be used for something else besides looking for leaders?
Yeah. Based on your, what's your business or your
I work in the realm of fertility.
Okay.
Yeah.
So really,
I'm developing some thought leadership things, but I'm still doing the VANESSA. I'm still doing the fertility part.
So my recommendation would be to start looking for others who are having those conversations on the platform, because they are happening there, and start to just follow and comment, like VANESSA was saying, on people's posts. and then your audience would be women who are looking to conceive. Yeah, and you could tie it into this piece too, because it is LinkedIn. If you wanted to, you could tie it into this piece about how to, I wanted to have conversations actually about motherhood as well on this platform. I welcome that, because leadership to me, embodied feminine leadership, like moms are embodied feminine leaders to me, to the best of their ability. And so if you wanted to weave in this piece about leadership, like how motherhood, you could weave in based, within this forum of what we're doing, how you feel the topic of fertility applies. Something about this spoke to you. What spoke to you about joining the series?
Just the fact that it's focused on feminine embodiment, not just feminine leadership or divine leadership. Like that's, I can't grasp that. I know what it is. I felt it, but embodied feminine leader, I don't know. There's the combination sounded fantastic. So I thought, I'm curious. I'll check it out.
Yeah, beautiful. So perhaps the conversation that you would potentially host or drum up is around this feminine embodiment piece. If that part is resonating, and we're talking about it in our own way, and other people are talking about it too. So you could create a niche or a realm for that in LinkedIn. Yeah, and feel free to, if you want to talk more about it, no pressure to, to have a discovery call with me, that we could talk more about, your vision and how you might want to play more in the realm of LinkedIn. Thank you for speaking and sharing. Awesome, sisters. Well, I love you all. I'm so grateful. Deep bow and namaste to each of you from my heart to yours. Thank you for being a part of this conversation. It wouldn't be as wonderful and rich without you. So this is a collaborative and co-creative effort. Please spread the word about this series. Come back and participate. We will be going all the way through the end of April every Wednesday. And then this is for the first season, and then I'm pretty sure it'll continue on from there, although I don't know when I'll re-up it at that point. And thank you for also, I just want to highlight too, with my tech issues, like, you don't have to have the tech all figured out in order to show up as an embodied feminine leader. And I'm seeing like, okay, I think I want to do an actual presentation where I can show more of what, I've been experiencing, and maybe create something separate for that. So I just want to out myself and also like, love on myself at the same time, and show that like we can show up just authentically and still have a powerful impact. Thank you all. Bye, sister.
Thank you.
See you later.
Thank you.
Bye.